a really exciting but kind of stressful time. Sometimes you just need somebody to be there to guide you through because a lot of unexpected things can happen. Having a coach alongside can make these unexpected things a little bit less daunting, or can at least help you manage them and get to the closing table. So, what can you expect? Well, let's walk through the process. One of the first things you'll need to do before you can get the keys to your new home is to find a realtor that you think you can work with. You should be looking for someone that you would consider a friend, maybe somebody who's easy to communicate with and will help be able to guide you through this purchase process. The best agents are those with passion and expertise. Ask a lot of questions. It's okay to interview agents to see who would be a good fit. Agents aren't a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. I've got a list of questions that you can use to interview agents. I'll put a link in the comments below. Once you find a trusted agent, you should also find a trusted mortgage lender too. Your agent should have some connections, but it's good to shop around. From past experience, a trusted and usually local lender is your best bet. Get in touch with the lender and ask them about a pre-approval letter. This will let you know how much you can afford, but always talk with loved ones about how much you should afford. They're going to ask a lot of financial information, so it's best to give them the most accurate information possible. And when you're shopping around, just ask for what's called a good faith estimate. Don't have all of the lenders run your credit. Do that too many times and you'll start to see a negative impact on your credit score. Once you've decided who you want to work with, then have them run your credit. Now, once you've decided how much you're willing to spend, your agent will start to send you properties. Now, my approach is to have a consultation with my clients where I ask a lot of questions about what they need and what they want and what they don't want, so that I know how best to serve them. It's okay to not know exactly what you're looking for, but you should have at least some idea to start with. Think about the space you currently have. What do you like about it? What do you wish was different? Those are great places to start as you consider your new home needs. Now, one great way to check out different square footage or what the different concepts feel like would be an open house. Your agent can provide a list of open houses each weekend. Now, usually they happen on Saturday and Sunday afternoons. And just tell the agent hosting the open house that you're working with someone and they'll contact your agent if there are any follow-up questions. After you've identified a few properties to tour, you'll go look at them. While you're there, don't look at the details. Don't get caught up in the designs or the paint or the furniture. You can easily change all of that. Focus on the things you can't change, like the kitchen layout, the size of the living room, or the bedrooms. Decide if the things that you don't like are projects that you can and are willing to take on. Your agent should also be pointing out things that they see. Remember, they see a lot of homes on a weekly and monthly basis, so rely on their expertise to show you things that you would never have thought to look for. And ask a lot of questions. Questions can often be great conversation starters for other homes too. I know that I've had a lot of conversations about a specific part of one house that applied to several more that we saw later. I know for me, I just can't remember in one go all of the things I want to tell you. Sometimes it takes a reminder question for me to bring some of my experience back to you as my client. Now, if you decide that you like a house, you'll write an offer. Depending on what kind of market you're in, and your agent should be able to educate you on this, you'll probably have to move pretty quickly. I've been in a lot of situations where a buyer wanted to sleep on it, and they missed a house because someone else liked it too. So have your agent draw up a contract and submit it to the sellers ASAP. Now, there are a few things to consider when you make an offer. First off, you'll have to decide what purchase price you feel is fair for you and for the seller. Now, this is probably based on comparable homes in the area, what has sold recently, for how much, what does the current competition look like. Your agent can share this information with you and offer some suggestions on the best strategy when it comes to price. If you're in a competitive seller's market, then property values are going up and up and up, and it may take an offer over the asking price to be competitive enough for the seller to accept. Now, if you're in a buyer's market, you as a buyer have a little more negotiating power and may be able to negotiate a slightly lower asking price. Now, you'll also have to decide if there are any concessions that you'd like the sellers to make initially. Do you want them to pay for closing costs? Do you want them to provide a home warranty for the major systems? These are some things to consider as you make your offer because you're asking the seller to give back some of the money that you've already offered. There's time later for negotiating repairs for broken things, but these first negotiations are critical to successfully going under contract. Once you have an accepted offer, the real crazy rush begins. Now, we call this going under contract. You'll probably have to put down earnest money to solidify the contract. Every market's different, so ask your agent how much to expect for this. Now, in St. Louis, sellers expect to see about 1% of the sales price. However, you can offer more to be a little bit more competitive. Now, it acts like a security deposit. The title company's going to cash the check and hold it in your name until closing. It shows up as a credit to you at closing. It goes to your fees, your down payment, things like that. And you can submit this the old-fashioned way on a personal check, or there are several electronic collection options as well. Now, you'll want to schedule inspections. Your agent should be able to explain the different kinds, but they are super important to do. Now, this will let you know what deficiencies are in the house and maybe some suggestions on which to address now and which could be later. Now, your agent will help you understand what the report means and guide you through the negotiations as well. I've got another video about inspections, so check that out when you're finished watching this video. Once you know what repairs to ask for, the real negotiation begins. The two agents will communicate back and forth with their clients and come to an agreement on the repairs. Sometimes sellers make the repairs, and sometimes they offer a credit so that you can do it yourself. One of the key things I stress with my clients so that they feel good about these negotiations are to focus on the health and safety issues found in the home. Anything we couldn't see when we walked through the house. Now, if it's a cosmetic issue or something we knew about when we saw the house, it's a lot harder to convince a seller to fix it. Once inspections are through, the rest is up to the lender and the title company. Now, the lender's collecting all sorts of documentation. Now, I joke that they need your blood type and the name of your firstborn, but it really feels like that sometimes. I will stress that it's super, super important that you turn in documents as quickly as possible. They tend to stop working on the file as soon as there's something missing, and that just slows everything down. It's really annoying, but it's really important to get that stuff back quickly. The lender will order an appraisal to make sure that you're not overpaying for the house. And this is important because the lender can only loan the lesser amount between the sales price and the appraisal price. And if the appraisal comes back lower, then the contract probably has to change, unless you want to just bring the cash to make up the difference. Basically, an appraiser goes to the house, they take measurements and photos, and then they go back to their fancy system and they compare apples to apples, your new house, to others in the neighborhood. They're able to add and subtract specific amounts of money based on features that your house has or doesn't have compared to the others. Once the appraisal is through and the underwriters finish their job, it's finally time for closing. The title company's prepared all of the legal documents to transfer the title to your name, and then the lender provides the documentation that they need to finish processing and fund the loan. You'll sign a bunch of papers until your hands cramp, and then once the money has gone to the sellers, the house is yours. Welcome to home ownership. If you're thinking about buying a house, but you aren't sure if it's the right move, contact me and we'll walk it through. I've helped lots of clients decide they should keep renting or if it's time to buy. And as a former teacher, it's my passion to educate my clients so that they can make the best decision for themselves and for their families. So subscribe below, click that little bell, and send me a text or an email or shoot me some smoke signals, and let's get talking.